there. Dating, I'm just like, man, social media has changed. That's why sometimes when old folks talk about, and I even posted something on of that nature on social media this week, but when older people talk about their love and all these things, I'm just like, y'all just didn't have the option that we have today. Yep. So basically, and it's not even this.
Well, there's positives and negatives.
It's just options available where you can really at least the illusion of option, because I think people think they have option, not necessarily. It creates an illusion of option. The reason why I'm saying this is because nowadays you go on Instagram and everybody has this message box on their profile. So you can just click on it and immediately send them a message. So when you see their pictures, you seem like that person is available because you can just click and send them a message. And you know what I mean? So that's what I mean by illusion of message, where that person may answer or may not answer, but you can do that. The more attractive you are, or the more your page looks good, the higher chances of them replying.
But you know what else is about that illusion? If you think about it, once you actually meet that person, are they actually going to look like that?
Some do, some don't. Some do, some don't. But the thing is,
that's the other thing about the illusion. It also comes down to what your expectations are, and you may not. What you may believe you are meeting your expectations off the internet. Once you actually go and meet,
but you're taking it a step. But I think you're taking it a step further. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to meet this person. But the thing is, you have all these people in your face. It's like dating app. You have all these people in your face. Where I feel like back in the days, this is where I'm talking. Back in the days, people were not traveling as much, so you will meet one person in your neighborhood, for example, and you marry that person because you know
that's the only option that was available for you.
Exactly. Nowadays, again, forget even dating app, just Instagram alone. You go to the Discover page, or you go on, let's say, on your location. There's so many what seems to be available women there. Just like, she may not be looking this way, but I'm going to go with another one. She may not be looking this way, but I'm going to go with another one.
But even the women that do end up being available, that is far more than what our predecessors had access to. But the thing about social media that I feel makes it difficult is because shit moves fast on that, man. Shit moves really, really, really fast. And sometimes it's really complicated to build a genuine relationship with someone based off of the dynamics of that social media life. And I can talk about my own experiences, right? One thing that I found was difficult is that sometimes when I talk to someone off an app or whether it's social media, and then we actually meet up, I don't find that same personality. You used the perfect word, illusion. Sometimes an illusion can be created online, and then when you bring it to the 3D world,
it happens.
And that's why like one thing I always see is that whether it's on dating apps, they always say, I don't want a pen pal relationship, I don't want a pen pal relationship. But at the end of the day, sometimes maybe you do want a pen pal relationship.
Nah, I don't want that. We want that human connection.
No. You get what I'm saying when I said that, right? Because at the end of the day, maybe you do want that illusion, but it's still hard to find the right person in the 3D. It's not as hard as it was back then because at the end of the day, you still have more options, but the difficulty is still there. And there's an added level of difficulty due to the nature of social media.
I just think that we making it harder than I don't know, man. You just said a lot, man. You just said a lot. I think we became pickier because of the options. So, for example,
that's a good point too.
So, see what I'm saying? It's just like nowadays, it's just like, okay, I know I can get that. I know I can get that. Thing is that before you didn't necessarily know. Like, for example, I'm gonna take my own example. For example, not saying that I have low self-esteem or anything like that, but when I downloaded social media dating app, I've met women that I never even could have thought she wasn't to me. I'm just like, I didn't even know I was hot in the street like that. You know what I mean? Not saying that I'm a catch, but I was just like,
no, say that shit.
No, but I'm saying,
pop your collar and all that. You know what I mean?
But it's like I was like, damn, like she's interested. So you find yourself with all these women or all these men, whatever, that are interested in you, and you're just like, damn, like I can get that. So now you go out with her, and you go out with her, and you're just like, damn, I have all these choices. They all have great qualities. Some of them they have flaws. But you almost feel like you're never really happy. You're never really complete. You're always going to say like, I bet she doesn't have this. I bet she doesn't have that. 2 years ago, you didn't see that. Yeah. You would have dated her because you didn't have these options. But because now you have options, you're just like, yeah, but she's the other one.
That's actually a very good point.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but the other one is prettier.
Very, very good point.
Oh, but the other one, she has a better career. Oh, but the other one cook better. So you're now starting creating things in your head that were never really there. And I think that's that's the biggest issue in our dating thing nowadays. It's like, I can't find someone that fit me. I was like, no, it's just like we become so picky because of social media. I think that's the problem. Like you said, we look at pictures and we think that we deserve that, or we think that we can have that, and we think it's going to be perfect. And that's the point that you said. That's very true. It's just like that's another thing too. You can very well meet that woman and have that woman or that man, whatever. But in real life, you will realize that, damn, she has so many flaws. Mm-hmm. But on the social media, you don't see these flaws. You see? So that's what I'm saying, where I'm like, I truly believe, yes, it's advantages, yes, because I've met people that I would have never met before on social media.
That's what I was about to ask you.
But I think it's also because I reached a point, because I've done it so much, and I've reached a point where I was able to kind of, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was able to I was conscious. At the beginning, when I first started, I wasn't conscious. And then I wasn't necessarily aware of these things. Now that I am, I know how to use it. That's why now I'm just like, dating app. I'm just like, I had stopped. Because I was just like, nah, just too much. You know, so.
But that was going to be my next question about what would you be cool if these apps, for example, vanished? How would we function in society?
But first of all, and they probably even gain even more traction after COVID. People joining these apps making money now. But I'm just like, think about it. People don't last as long in a relationship anymore. Like, I swear, if people probably watch data on marriages, on relationships, and things like that, you will see that people don't last nearly as long in a relationship because now we just I don't gotta put up with their shit.
Yeah. Not only just that, I don't have to put up with your shit, but on top of that, like, yo, I think I got better out here. Simple as that. I think I got better, and
we stay in this cycle. And before you know it, it's 5 years of your life.
Before you know it, it's 5 years of your life, and the thing that made you attractive before may start to dissipate. Maybe you're not going to the gym. Maybe you don't look as good. And now when it's 5 years later, you're like, oh shit, I actually don't have the same amount of options out here. So now you get back on the dating app and you're going back on that same pattern back and forth. And yeah, that's the thing. But again, I want to ask the people out there, and to people out there that are listening, I want to ask y'all, how would you operate, and do you think that your dating experiences would be better if there were no dating apps?
And I was going to add a point. Good question. Hopefully, if people can answer. But I was going to add a point. It's like, again, back in the time where we always talk about the past. Because a lot of people are like, I want tradition. Oh, no. I'm like, your parents, when your mom or your parents, that in that generation, if your mom stepped out the house to meet your dad, more than likely it would turn into something. Like, it would turn into something. She wasn't just going out to get like a free meal or because she was free, whatever. Because they needed one another, but
it's also the societal standards.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The culture has changed, very much so. So your mom was only seeing your dad. She wasn't seeing 3 or 4 dudes at the same time. Nowadays, you find yourself, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we all dealing with 2, 3 people at the same time. And what ends up happening is you may like 2 of them, 3 of them, or you may be going out with this one, may have sex with this one, and you may, you may have a better connection with this one. So you're juggling 3 to 4 people, and sometimes people don't realize that. I know.
Which actually gets us into another very interesting topic.
And this is why sometimes when people are dating multiple people, I'm just like, it sounds good, it sounds great, you're finding yourself, figure out what you like, but no, this is how you get stuck into, and this is how your heart get broken, because it's like, you're finding women, because I've been in this situation, I can be open about it, where I had several women that I liked, not several women that I liked, but each and every one of them were bringing something that I liked, and I'm just like, how do you pick one now? Because this one is this one is, and you're just like.
But it's not even just that.
You don't want to choose. It's
not even just that. And this is where we can maybe segue into the other part of the conversation about polyamory, and those kinds of relationships. I think also there's the fact that, can you give yourself fully to multiple people at the same time? Can people really give themselves fully to multiple people at the same time?
You know what's funny?
Because listen,
I made that point last year. We were invited in an event for relationship, and I made the exact same point. Go ahead.
Because when you're dealing with one person, and you can really give yourself everything from an effort perspective, financial perspective, sex, whatever have you, this and that. when you deal with multiple people and you start to realize the dynamics that are building between yourselves and this person, you're gonna be okay with this person. I need to be talking about like my feelings or et cetera, but I'm not gonna really put too much effort sexually. Okay, with this person, it's all physical, this back and forth. Okay, cool. And then with this person, we can talk about, I don't know, my interests, sports, music, whatever have you. But at the end of the day, all of you are gonna be, there's gonna be a certain level of dissatisfaction due to the relationship that you have with that one individual, because you're not giving yourself fully with that person, which is why it also is gonna breed and develop the desire to meet other people even more with each and every single one of you, so you can fill that void that you're not getting with one person with someone else. And then there's a snowball effect when so many people come in, and y'all better hope you're not getting no STD. But then it goes back and it goes back and forth, and before you know it, you got an avalanche. And at the end of the day, is that really?
But people get addicted. Yeah. That's another thing too. People get addicted to dating. People get addicted to the newness. That's another point. The newness of the first 3 months where everything is beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But then once you get serious, you're just like out. So a lot of people, and that's men and women, a lot of people say, they want a serious relationship. It's like, do you really?
Yep.
When things get tough, are you sticking around? Or are you going to go back into that app and trying to find that same newness feelings where, so some people, a lot of people love that. They don't, again, our generation doesn't necessarily want to build
go through the tough times. They just want to, especially when you have access to that newness so much compared to what it wasn't back in the day. Simple as that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, you want to try it.
You have access to experiencing that newness all the time. All you gotta do is pull out your damn phone.
You just gotta
pull out your damn phone,
it's like
swipe,
ordering Uber
swipe,
Eats, bro.
simple as that.
Like honestly, it's like ordering Uber Eats, man. It's like, man. Yeah, it's like ordering Uber Eats. You go on these dating apps, it's like, all right, I want to go out. Not necessarily mean that you're going to go out with the person that you choose, but there's a high chance. Again, I said, granted, I think not the downfall is just like, well, that's a different topic. I think it's for social media and I think it's dating app, but yeah, the abundance of choice and the effect that it has on, but also, I think also on just like on your self-esteem, man.
How so? Explain.
So, are we still talking about
No, we're freestyling right now. Let's go.
No, yeah. So I think the self-esteem in a sense where, again, some people don't necessarily give as much choices as you, as I don't know, you or me, because they're not as tall, they don't have, attractive pictures. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you base everything off of pictures and off of a certain lifestyle. So some people now start lying about their life or what they perceive because they want to be accepted. That's one, or they want to be chosen. And other people are just not, again, they're not photogenic. Or they may think that they're not worth nothing because they can attract. Because you could meet someone, and it goes back to what you said, where this is the online world, whatever, where you can be a great person and you can create that persona.
And then when you meet that person in real life, you're like, oh, Lord have mercy.
Whereas there are
catfish.
Right. Yeah. Whereas some people, in real life, you'd be like, yo, this person, she is awesome. Like, you went on, you're just like, I wouldn't necessarily look at her like she wouldn't be my first choice, but yo, I had such a great time with her. But that's not reflected online, So I think, but people can use. I think if you're not, because not all of us here are like have super high self-esteem, but it can bring someone's self-esteem if down. Yeah, if your own.
Down or up, it depends. Because some people,
that's what happened with IG models, man. The Cash App and shit, OnlyFans, because it gives them money. People constantly like them, constantly, like their pictures. So it boosts their self-esteem, it boosts their ego because everybody found them attractive. They get, people fight for them.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to like emotional intelligence. Be able to emotional intelligence, being able to realize different situations. That's the same.
I don't think so. I think
it's trying to keep a certain level of balance on top of that, because sometimes there's so much hyperbole in whether it's positive or negative. You were just speaking about IG models, blah 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 blah. There's a lot of pretty women that still keep their feet on the ground. They're like, okay, I'm gonna just use this for one particular aspect, blah blah blah. But then there's also a lot of people who, if they're not getting the same amount of attention as someone, they actually fall into depression. And you can go online and read those articles. Like, some people actually commit suicide because of those things.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
So it's really about just being able to manage your emotions and realizing what these tools are for and all that kind of stuff. And it takes time. It takes a lot of self-awareness, realization, working through your trauma and all of those things. We can go to a whole mental health topic, but we don't have the time for that. But and it comes back to a lot to just human nature, because at the end of the day, a lot of these things just amplify the things that are about human nature, and they bring them to the forefront in a way that just just fucking blows them up in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple, but it's simple to say, but it's a lot more difficult in practice. So
that's exactly what I always say. In theory, it sounds good in theory, but it's not